15 perennials that thrive with very little care. You spent money on plants that were supposed to come back every year. Most of them bloomed for 3 weeks, then disappeared. I know the feeling. But my grandmother always said the lazy gardener's secret: invest in the right plants once and let them do the work for years. Most perennials marketed as long-blooming deliver 3 weeks of colour and 5 months of leaves. You did not buy a garden. You bought expensive ground cover. By the end of this video, you will have a list of 15 specific plants, cultivar names, zones, heights, verified by trial data, that typically deliver colour every single month from May through October. And you will know exactly which ones need 0 deadheading and which ones deer won't touch. Every bloom window in this list was verified against Mount Cuba Center and Chicago Botanic Garden trial data, not nursery labels. Plant number 10 attracted more butterflies than any other garden flocks in Mount Cuba's multi-year trial. And 4 of these 15 are verified no deadhead by botanical gardens. We will flag every single one. Here is how this video works. 15 plants, 3 groups. Group 1. 5 plants where blooms until frost is actually documented by trial data, not just a label on a pot. Group 2. 5 long-burst workhorses delivering 8 to 12 straight weeks. Layer these with Group 1 and you have colour every single month from May through October. Group 3. 5 specialists. 1 for shade. 1 that hummingbirds will fight over. And 1 that finally settles the catmint debate. Every plant gets a badge: USDA zone, mature height, deer resistance rating, and deadhead requirement. About 12 minutes. Grab a pen, write this down. Let's start. Group 1. These 5 plants are the ones where blooms until frost is backed by multi-year trial data. Buy any of these, plant it correctly, and it typically earns its space every single year in most gardens. Plant 1, Geranium rosam. Gardeners from Zone 5 through Zone 8 routinely report it never stops blooming, and the Chicago Botanic Garden documented exactly that, calling it perpetually in bloom across multiple trial seasons. That is not marketing. Sterile hybrid. All its energy goes into flowers instead of seeds. Zone 5 through 8, 18 to 24 inches. With a deer resistance rating of B. No deadheading required. Mid-June through first hard freeze. Plant 2. Rudbeckia American Gold Rush. The All-American Selections panel verified this one. Blooming July to September with some colour up until frost. No deadheading required. That comes straight from the AAS evaluation. Zone 4 through 9. Septoria resistant, which means cleaner foliage midsummer than most black-eyed Susans. As a keystone species, it supports over 20 caterpillar species. Leave the seed heads standing through winter. Plant 3. Russian sage, or Salvia yangii if you want the updated botanical name. July through October. 4 months. Here's what most people don't know. This is not a traditional floral display. It's a persistent haze of soft purple-blue over silver stems. Chicago Botanic Garden states, "Deadheading is unnecessary and does not increase flower production." Zone 4 through 9. 36 to 48 inches tall. With a deer resistance rating of A, the highest rating. Plant it at the back of a border and leave it alone. That's it. Plant 4 is salvia, but the cultivar depends on your zone. Zone 5 through 7. Maynite. Blooms hard in May and June, then sporadic rebloom through summer. Zone 7 and warmer, add Amistad. Chicago Botanic called it prolific, mid-June through frost. Both attract bees and butterflies heavily from the first day they open. If you are in Zone 7 or warmer and have not grown Amistad yet, that changes this season. Plant 5. Helenium autumnale, North American native. Fiery reds, oranges and bronzes from late summer through frost. This replaced Gaillardia on our list after research confirmed Gaillardia typically lives 2 to 3 years and requires frequent deadheading. Helenium is longer lived and more hands-off. Zone 3 through 8, 18 to 36 inches. If your site is windy, stake it once at mid-season. It gets top-heavy at peak bloom. Native bees and monarchs work it heavily from August onward. Those 5 earn the Until Frost badge. If you only buy 5 plants from this entire video, start here. The next 5 fill every gap from May through October, and one of them settles the catmint debate once and for all. Group 2 is not about reaching frost. It is about filling every window between spring and fall with dense, reliable colour. Layer these alongside Group 1 and you have covered the entire growing season. Plant 6. Catmint. Cat's pajamas. And yes, we are settling the catmint debate right now. Catmint is not catnip. Nepeta fascenii is a sterile hybrid. No runners, no viable seed, clump forming only. It is not on the USDA invasive plants list. Don't panic when you hear mint family. It stays put. Catmint is in the mint family, so are basil, lavender, and over 200 other genera. The family name does not make it invasive. According to the ASPCA, catmint is non-toxic to dogs and cats, so kids and pets can brush right up against it safely. Cats may roll in it. That's harmless. Just expect a slightly squashed clump in spring. Zone 3 through 8, 12 to 14 inches, with a deer resistance rating of A. Essentially, no deadheading required. Plant 7. Coneflower, Cheyenne Spirit. Honest timing. Peak bloom is 6 to 8 weeks, with sporadic rebloom into mid-October. Not until frost, but here is what most videos skip. Leave the seed heads standing all winter. Goldfinches, chickadees, and native sparrows feed on those seed heads from November through February. Zone 4 through 9. And as a keystone species, it supports monarchs, swallowtails, and fritillaries during peak summer bloom. Plant 8. Coreopsis moonbeam. Threadleaf texture, soft yellow flowers, 8 to 10 weeks, July through August. If your yard bakes in summer heat and you cannot water regularly, this is your plant. Zone 3 through 9. 15 to 18 inches. Almost no supplemental water once established. Native bees cannot get enough of it from July through late August. Plant 9. Yarrow Moonshine. Soft yellow, flat-topped clusters, May through August. One critical detail: ask for moonshine specifically. Paprika, the red variety, spreads more aggressively than most gardeners want. Same look, very different behavior. Zone 3 through 8. 12 to 24 inches. With a deer resistance rating of A. Drought tolerant once established. Pollinators, especially native bees and small wasps, work the flat flower heads constantly. Plant 10. Phlox Gina. This is the one we mentioned at the start. Mount Cuba Center's multi-year trial found it attracted more butterflies than any other garden phlox they tested. Mid-July through early September. North American native discovered growing wild. Quick question: are you Team Salvia or Team Catmint for your summer borders? Drop a comment and let me know. One honest note on height. Every nursery tag says 3 to 4 feet. Mount Cuba's formal trial recorded it at 60 inches tall by 48 inches wide. Give it 5 feet of space or stake it once at mid-season. Do not plant it at the front of a border. Layer those 5 with Group 1 and you have something blooming every single month from May through October. The catmint debate is settled. I share a new smart gardening secret every week, so subscribe before we jump into Group 3. One group left. It has the only shade plant on this entire list, and the one plant hummingbirds will fight over. Group 3. No two gardens are the same. These 5 fill the niches, shade corners, hummingbird territory, late-season gaps, and spots where nothing from the first 10 will cooperate. Plant 11. Daylily, Happy Returns. Compact rebloomer, zone 3 through 9. Drought tolerant once established. Some deadheading helps here, but Happy Returns is far more forgiving than Stelladoro. You can skip a few days without losing your next flush. Ask for it by cultivar name. Nurseries often shelve it next to inferior varieties. Zone 3 through 9. 18 to 24 inches. Continuous flushes from June through first frost with minimal effort. One of the longest daylily bloom windows available at this price point. Plant 12. Veronica Royal Candles. Deep blue-purple spikes from mid-June onward, 4 to 6 weeks of dense bloom. Bees and butterflies go absolutely frantic on these. One of the most pollinator-active plants you can put in a sunny border. Zone 4 through 8, 15 to 18 inches. If you remove the main stem when it finishes, secondary spikes follow within a few weeks. That one step extends the display noticeably. Plant 13. Heuchera, specifically the villosa types like caramel or citronelle. This is the only shade specialist on the entire list. Most gardeners think of Heuchera as a foliage plant. That is correct, and the foliage is stunning year-round. Deep purples, caramels, silvers, limes. The flowers arrive in August through September as a bonus. Mount Cuba Center evaluated 83 Heuchera cultivars. They found the villosa types performed best for hardiness, vigor, and overall adaptability across multiple seasons. Zone 4 through 9. Do not waste money on fancy new cultivars that have not been trial tested. Plant 14. Crocosmia lucifer. Fiery red arching stems, July through August. North Carolina State University states it will light up the garden and attract hummingbirds. That is an understatement. Ruby-throated hummingbirds treat this plant like it owes them money. Zone 5 through 9. 24 to 40 inches. Important caveat if you are in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest. Don't panic! Just plant lucifer inside a buried root barrier or grow it in a large container. It escapes cultivation in that region. Everywhere else, plant it and enjoy it. Plant 15. Scabiosa, butterfly blue. Perennial plant of the year, lavender blue pincushion flowers. Months of continuous bloom from June through October. This replaced Amsonia on our list because Mount Cuba's own trial data confirmed Amsonia blooms only 2 to 4 weeks. We checked, so you don't have to. Zone 3 through 9, 8 to 12 inches. Extremely long blooming for its size. Deadhead lightly every few weeks to maintain continuous flushes. Butterflies, especially skippers and painted ladies, find it immediately. Those 5 solve the specific problems the first 10 cannot. Shade corners, hummingbird territory, continuous late-season color in a small footprint. Pick the ones that match your garden's actual challenges. Quick recap: 15 plants, 3 groups. Group 1 gives you until frost color, verified by trial data, not nursery labels. Group 2 fills every gap from May through October. Group 3 handles shade, hummingbirds, and the spots where nothing else cooperates. 4 of these 15 are verified no deadhead: Roseanne, American Gold Rush, Russian Sage, and Cat's Pajamas. And every single plant on this list has trial-tested bloom data behind it. Not marketing copy, not a label on a pot. The cost math. 15 plants at an average of $18 each. That is $270 one time. Versus $200 to $400 a year on annuals. Over 10 years, that annual habit costs you $2,000 to $4,000 for a garden that goes silent every August. And yes, Plant 10, Phlox Gina, genuinely attracted more butterflies than any other phlox in Mount Cuba's multi-year trial. If you plant just one from this list near a window you look out from, make it that one. Here is your one action for this weekend. Screenshot the badge for the plant that matches your zone. Walk into your garden center. Ask for it by cultivar name, not just phlox or catmint, but the exact cultivar. Then come back and comment which one you picked. Gardeners in your exact zone are reading these comments. Because the difference between a 3-week garden and a 7-month garden is 15 plants your nursery probably never showed you. To learn exactly how to prepare the soil for these plants without doing any heavy digging, click the video on your screen right now. Happy gardening!